What's up, board game people? Today we have something very special and a first for the channel. Today we're going to chat with Joel Torres Segura of Synergic Games, the creators of Harakiri Blades of Honor. We get a little peek inside the curtain, find out how the project's going, what Harakiri is all about, and maybe a little of what Synergic might be up to in the future. Enjoy. Can you tell us a little about yourself and your role with Synergic Games?
Yeah, sure thing. I'm Joel. I'm 42. I have a couple of bachelor degrees based on economics and business administration. I've always loved board gaming, role playing, and all that related. I started playing very early. And in Synergic, my position in Synergic is that I'm co-owner of the company. And I'm also the co-author of Harakiri's Blades of Honor.
What made you want to create Synergic Games?
Okay, thing is that Synergic Games was created by my partner,
Okay.
and something like he started working on Harakiri 5 years ago, something like that.
Oh, wow.
And something like 3 years ago, we started getting along through social media and all that, but I was not part of Synergy. And something like 3 years ago, he told me that the task in hands was super crazy big, and told me, okay, this to be done alone is it's almost impossible. And he asked me if I wanted to join, and I did, and we made many changes to the game. It was some kind of restart or reboot, because Harakiri was supposed to be a competitive game played only on the map, players playing asymmetric, characters fighting for honor. So that's Harakiri Blades of Honor. We kept the name, but we changed to adventure, dungeon crawler, cooperative, narrative driven. So we made lots of changes, and I've been here for the three years almost now.
Okay. So how large of a company is it?
So right now we are four. I would say people getting paid with wages. I would say, because nowadays it's not that easy, because we are four people. Besides that, we have many collaborators, freelancers, and right now I have 5, 6 people freelancing for us right now. On the highest that we had during the creation, development of everything, art and all that, I think we came up to 25, 30 people
Oh,
involved.
wow.
But right now we are core team, a small core team. We don't want to over expand with internally, because this in the end can make you have to work always project, and then you get bigger and bigger and larger, and then one fails, and the card castle, let's say
Yeah, we're seeing
falls
that a
down.
lot nowadays.
Yes,
So
and
that's
that's
good to hear
something
that
that
y'all aren't rushing ahead.
yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about Harakiri Blades of Honor, like what it is and what we're going to be seeing?
Okay, so Harakiri is a cooperative campaign game for up to 4 players. We tried our best to make something, trying to give players possibility to play a full adventure feeling. So that's why we have 2 different phases. A phase we call adventure phase. Players will explore, I would say, a dark fantasy themed feudal Japan,
Okay.
because team members we are very lovers of Japan culture and all that. And so for the first part, there's this world that you can explore, and this world changes depending on what you do deeply, not like story and endings. And then you have also a dungeon crawler exploration phase, and those are very tied together. But on the same time, they are the evolution of campaign and characters and story and all that. It's it has substantial changes. It's not something like, okay, whatever I do in the ending is the same. It will only change, I don't know, 3, 4 sentences. So this is something that we wanted to feel this way. First, also to add replayability, just something that it's there, but also because what we are looking for is for players to be connected with their characters. and this is something that if you are invested in your character and you know that things that you do can deeply affect upcoming whatever sessions, act, your story, whatever, we think that this kind of bound is what we were looking for with our game.
Okay. So what's your favorite part of Harakiri? What's your favorite feature?
So I would say that as a theme or as a like a title, I would say that all the things that we have done to create epic moments, because we think that these because one of our targets or our objectives is to create this sounds kind of cliche, right? But to create things that you can talk about, I don't know, in 1 week or in 2 weeks.
Okay, yeah.
So and to do that we added three, four, five like mechanics going straight to creating these epic moments, like going to very like naming them. We have focus die that you can always add to your attacks and can have like very like critical effects or fails the counter attacks. Then you have like kami mode, which is something that with last resort that you can like commit harakiri, in fact. And then you have like superpowers for a couple of rounds, and then you are you are defeated. And also how we created a mechanic that include narration story while you are playing, not reading 4 pages. I forget about the story. I play for 2 hours, then read 10 pages,
Nice.
and I move forward.
Okay.
So, but these kind of things that we did that, or we are doing our best to create these moments. And this is something that on our testing sessions and our testing groups, we are like super happy that I don't know, something like a week after they are still in contact with us. I'm talking about the game to other people, and I still remember this and that was so fun. I remember that I was able to do that and
Those
that,
are the best
and this
moments
is the
though.
best of joy.
You want to be
Yes,
able to look back fondly on your time with the game. And if you
yes,
have those, oh, I did this and that was so badass, that's
yeah.
definitely something people they do remember. I remember moments like that with a lot of games I've played. So I think that'll be really great. So how do you personally feel about the length of the game? Do you like longer games or do you like shorter one-offs?
Okay, so I would say that as I said that I'm trying like to look for this kind of experiences. These I would say like mostly come from very like long time game, like I don't know, like games that you can stay there for 3 4 hours. But this is not like nowadays. This is not easy. So and we have to be like responsible with what we do create. So we create something that can see the table, not only like, okay, I get the crowdfund this game, I back it, and then it's great, it's amazing, I put it on the shelf on the Kallax, and I have no time to spend like 3 4 hours. So in order to do that, what we did is that we are like splitting these game sessions into this adventure phase. We take like 60 to 90 minutes. When I say this timing is as soon as when you learn how to play, because
Sure.
when you are learning to play and you have IP and you have to, okay, that's 60 to 90 minutes. And then dungeon crawler, like I would say like 90 to 120
Okay.
minutes. So you can add those parts into a chapter, and thematically they would feed because they were connected next to each other. But you can like decide, okay, today we have like 1 hour and a half, so we'll play only this part. Today we have 3 hours and a half, so we'll play the chapter fully. So we tried that. That said, the campaigns, we were like, when we started the development, we were in a period of time, and it changed a lot in the last 2 or 3 years, because we are developing the game for, as I said before, 3 4 5 years. uh, that moment it was like you have to sell 100 hours campaign, 200 hours campaign. If you were like, no, it's too little time, we thought that we would be going for something like you can play like act one in I don't know, like 35 hours, which is a lot of time, I would say. I mean, you need commitment to do that, and
Sure.
I understand. And then act two maybe only in 20 hours, and those act change dramatically depending on how act one went. And then we also, during the crowdfunding, we also unlocked one-shot scenarios, so people can like mix and match their characters from expansions and everything, enjoy like a 2 hours, 1 hour and a half game session.
That sounds great to me. I'm a big fan of long games. So right now I'm playing Aeon's Trespass Odyssey, and
Hmm.
I'm still working through the first cycle of that. So
Yes,
uh,
yes.
I don't mind putting the time in. I know a lot of my viewers are the same way. We look for games that has a story that we can really bite into and just follow for a while. Is there any part of the game that you wish you could have spent more time on, or that you could expand even more?
Related to development, I would clearly say no.
Okay.
And the thing is that we have spoken with many people, and many people told us that in fact we ended creating like almost like three different games.
Okay.
Because we have the adventure phase that people told us this is a good game on itself. Then the exploration phase, which we have been receiving lots of feedback that is a very, very, very solid dungeon crawler. And then we have two expansions in the game, one for solo players and another one which is like kind of boss battler. And we also created a new AI system for this battling, and this also by itself, I'm sure that we could just sold that as an individual product. So development wise, like we gave it all. We did our best.
Sure.
And so right now the timing, what we need time is to make sure that everything fits together. And everyone, when I say that, and I mean like all the conclusions, the editing, the testing, like this goes there and this goes that, and this interacts with this, because this is what makes this kind of feeling growing yourself, that you are like feeling the story. But on the other side, it's our biggest fear that we deliver the game and then there is an errata on chapter 7 that instead of reading 3 you have to read 4, and this demands lots of time because we have been like looking through this like many times, and after 3-4 times we have to start asking for fresh people with fresh eyes,
Yeah.
because if not you are just reading through the same and the mistake you can go over and over that. So right now the time we want is to invest on polishing the game rather than expanding.
So y'all really swung for the fences with this being your first game. Um,
Totally.
so knowing what you do now, would you do it all over again? Would you take on such a massive task again?
It's true that I think that we overdid it, and it's something that happens to first timers.
Oh, and it happens to a lot of
Uh,
projects. Yeah.
yeah, and but I feel that this is something like nowadays almost kind of necessary, because right now for first timers you need to create something new. You have to work 10 times to get 1/4 of recognition, depending
Yeah.
on like compared to big companies. So we did everything we could, and besides that, and saying answering your question, I would I would start over and do the same again, doing like arranging many of the mistakes that we have been
Sure.
doing, whatever. But the main reason for that is that we have been able to create a team that makes all this project a pleasure. And if it was not for that, something like that is impossible.
Sure.
I mean, to create a game that is mentally and physically draining you, that you have to work part time because you still need another job, and if it's not with people that you enjoy staying at like 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 or 5 times a day. If it's not something that you enjoy, it's a mistake.
Certainly.
I would say this to first timers. Be like, because in the end the team, they end up being your family. If you are not sure that this can go to go through the tough times, don't start, because they're going to be.
Yeah.
So it's not an easy task.
Definitely. Okay. So how do you feel about the current fulfillment schedule for Harakiri?
Okay, so we are super happy with how everything is going on related to production. This is something that it really like delays many projects, first timer projects. So for that, we partnered with Das Games, which is the company that creates for game produces for Simon and Meaty Games when they were like creating new Kickstarter and all that. And we have been, like, I would say, lucky with that. And so far, I can say that everything related to miniature production is completely finished, and this is like a great milestone because the molds, steel molds, are created, they are produced. So this part is something that really delays most of the projects, is done. So about the other schedule, right now we updated our schedule, and right now we are I would say confident that delivery will start around October.
Okay. Wow.
And right now, the time that we need is for all that I was saying before. Editing, testing, it's not anything production related. We will not be the one saying that it's not our fault. It's the factory, and we are very kind and we are very nice. No, if there is more delays, there would be because we would be needing more time to polish the game. And also development wise, the development for all game except from some of the one-shot scenarios that we created during the campaign is over as well.
Okay.
So I think we are good, but if a delay is needed to give extra polish, extra testing, we will, because we cannot fail on our first project because of that, after all this work.
No, I admire that commitment. I mean, I would rather wait, weeks, months to get a complete and working game than to get something that's just a flaming mess
Yes.
that I have to
Yes.
wait for somebody on Board Game Geek to rewrite the rules for me to be
Yeah,
able to play.
yeah, and this is something like for the rule book as an example. Like we had one rule book and we delivered it to content creators, and there was no many questions about the rule. Rule book looked fine, but we decided to go farther than that, and then we started partnering with Paul Grogan from Gaming Rules, making like consultancy meetings, and then because and we are changing many things to make it like much better. So it's not like we just want it to be like meh. So we wanted,
Sure.
we need it to be good. I mean, I will not say, oh, make the best rulebook. No, but we need it to be good because we are, after all this effort, this is something that sometimes amazes me, like these companies that they're working with a project, they are spending all the money, investments, mortgages and everything. And then these, I would not say small, but such important things like rulebook, like this extra testing, all that get like forgotten somehow, and the effect is terrible. I mean, because and this is something that because we are like the owners, the firm, when we see any comment anyway, because it's like if it's a bad review or anything, we are like, oh, because for us it's like our child, but
Yeah.
we have been always like answering questions and everything, and any comment or whatever. But it would be we would feel destroyed if we deliver a game that then the problem is that we did not spend like one extra month extra testing or extra editing.
So what's the biggest remaining risks on the schedule?
Okay, so one is something that I'm like this editing testing. That this we want is to go like to go through as many times as we can. The other one is logistics, and logistics is very hard because when you start creating a game, what you think of is you think about you have an idea. I will make some gameplay mechanics. This is cool. This is not. Let's get some artwork, miniatures. You go higher and higher. But in the end, you realize that a project like this one, in the end, you have to learn about so many things, and you are so out of your comfort area when you have to talk about like this like logistics with company delivering in continents, and then the production, and like we have learned so much about logistics alone, and there are
Oh
so many
yeah.
things that you have like people have no idea because it looks simple. Okay, you produce something and then magically you deliver it to people, I don't know, everywhere in the world, but there are so steps in between. So I would say that the higher risks are these about this editing and everything, that we think that we will spend the time that we think we need to make sure that this risk is as low as possible, and then everything related to logistics.
Yeah, I
That
definitely understand the logistics problem. I've looked into a little bit of that, and I don't know how y'all wrap your heads around it. There's so many different tax codes and so many just
yeah,
different custom laws, and you
and
can
and
send it through here, but you can't send it through there because it costs twice as
and
much.
and things that you would never think of, like for instance, okay, you produce this game, those boxes. Do you pre-pack them, or do you send them like in bulk, and then hubs pre-pack them? So if you pre-pack in China, the amount of errors that they commit are far less than hubs, and it's very difficult to arrange a mistake of something that you already sent. Okay, so you pre-pack. Okay, so now how do you put all these packages into the container? Do you do them like by bulk as well, or do you put them over a pallet? Which size is this pallet? And then how high can this be? So how much space you are losing on each container?
Sure.
And, and like many things that you have
Yeah, definitely. After a while, they
to
just
think
get
of.
too heavy and you can't stack
Yes,
anymore. And
yes.
it's definitely got to be a challenge. And thankfully, container prices are finally coming down a little bit.
Yeah, that's true. And I've been like every week I check that there's this index that changes. Like today it changed. Every week it's updated. And for the last year and a half, I've been every week checking the website, and I was so happy like seeing that prices were decreasing. I have to say that last week shipments from China to US increased like 11%
Oh,
in
wow.
1 week only. So I was like, oh, what is this? But but anyway, all this because everyone is happy that this container pricing is decreasing, but the last mile cost has been increasing so widely that not so long ago, we are speaking with one of these logistics companies because we are speaking with several of them at the same time, trying to get the best offer, and they offered us the exactly the same pricing as when containers were like 15,000.
Oh, wow.
And I said, this cannot be. And they told us, no, but last mile increased a lot. But how can, like, I know inflation, gas, petrol, whatever, but the containers went down like from 15 to 2,000.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
And you feel like, uh,
Yeah. A lot of times
like,
the backers don't know about all that. And so it's like, I try to bring some light to that because I know there's a major project just went into their, that's closing out their backer kit right now. And people are seeing some astronomical shipping prices, me
yes,
included. And it's all the last mile. It's not the
yes,
containers anymore.
totally.
It is
No,
that UPS guy, the FedEx guy, Royal
yes,
Mail, whatever
yes,
that's bringing it to your door. That's actually charging more,
yes,
and then you take it, and the different prices between companies. I'm sorry, between countries are
yes.
completely different as well. So like the U.S. is higher than a lot of other places, and so us stupid Americans sometimes we don't
No.
understand
But
that.
and so many things that you have to think about. Let's say like our game is going to be delivered in English and Spanish. So this means that most people in South America are like really interested. But South American shipment is an absolute nightmare. You cannot ship to South America, which is something that break our hearts. But it's something that we have been told. Okay, you will be sending the game 3, 4, 5 times, and the game will never get to the final customer. And this is something that people say, hey, why don't you ship to my country? I really love the game, I will pay. And say, it's not, I mean, we cannot. I mean, it's something that goes beyond our possibilities. And and it's and this about this last mile that you speak with companies. So and then you ask them, okay, so that's one of the reasons that we will mostly go pre-packed from China, because we are trying to put all the costs in China
Sure.
instead of on the American hub. And also lately we have been having like because the risk, the feeling of risk on all these sectors is increasing a lot during the last year, I would say. And something like talking about logistics, like when Fana game
Oh,
went broke,
definitely.
it crashed like many people and many projects. And this is something that, as a backer, you say, okay, I don't care that much. I have
Yeah.
to say that backer community is super like we are super happy that we have been like very transparent and everything. And I have to say that the update on which we announced our delay, it has been the one with the highest amount of likes in the last year.
Oh, that's
So
great.
we were like super happy because
Yeah, no, that's got
and
to be
this
nerve wracking putting out, hey,
yes,
we're going to take a little longer and please don't
yes,
hate us.
yes, and we were super happy with that. But in the end, there are some things that you cannot control, and I don't know, this could happen. And we know of companies because this is something that we have made lots of contact with many companies, well established, first timers, and we have. I had a conversation with a company. Told me, okay, I've been asked by this company that went broke, so I guess I can say these kind of things, and because also this creator also. Posted this in one of their updates, and it's a game that you know good, which is Dungeon Universalis. And the problem, and he told us, I've been asked for 20 grand, just, and if not, they are not delivering the games. They have the games, and if I don't pay,
Yeah.
they will not deliver them. And I have nothing, and I cannot ask for more money. I will not ask for more money to my backers. So, and this, I don't know. Luckily, he was able to get this money, but some others could not.
Oh, definitely.
and they can crash you. So it's a very complex process, and we would be super happy that the creating a game would be only related to create a game, but everything that is around, it's the most tiring part, I would say.
We're getting Harakiri sometime towards the end of the year. Are you planning a reprint? Is there already some plans and motions for a version 2 or a reprint or another campaign?
So I would say first is that this is the obvious answer. This depends on reception.
Okay.
If there is, because our project, Harakiri, is crowdfunding exclusive. So this means that if there is a good reception on the game, we would. I mean, it's something that it's feasible and something that we will be happy to do, because we would rather go and make a reprint rather than having people reselling copies like twice or three times the pricing. And you go there and say, okay, why are you getting like 10 times the amount of money that I'm getting for each copy?
Right.
So if reception is good, I would say that this is the obvious next step. This is part one, related to more Arakiri, I don't know, expansion, something like that. I would say that right now this is not our plan,
Okay.
because we have been like so mentally and physically drained that we really want to work on something new,
Sure.
something maybe lighter. Mm, because working on another project like for 3 4 extra years would be like too far ahead.
Sure.
So we think that if we do a reprint, if that's the case, most probably we would not be adding extra content. Also, because we think that we don't want. I mean, we know that our game is pricey because there's like lots of content. So we don't want to add an extra $120
Sure.
to the gameplay all in, and now you have to 500 to 600 euros.
Yeah, the reprints are always more expensive. I mean, yeah, at least I assume. That you don't make much off the first print run of a game.
Yes.
And so the reprints too, they were made at a time when things were maybe a little cheaper, or the prices were made
Mhm.
at a time when things were a little cheaper. And I've seen a lot of these projects that are reprinting, and they're coming back with a little bit more of a hefty price tag. And then when
Mhm.
you add the content on top of it, you're right. It's
Yes.
almost too much, and it scares
Yes.
away some backers that would have,
Yes. And
loved to have gotten it.
yes, and in the end, when you're a first timer and you have, because let's say that we have a good reception with our game, and then there is a reprint. So what we want, obviously, you want revenues and you want money, which would be stupid not to say so.
Yeah,
And it's also like very true that on a first project as big as ours, the profit is not something that you have to. You cannot have this in your mind. You
sure.
have to start thinking that if you do not lose, then you can be happy with it. So you need the reprint to get some money, get some projects, and all that. But we want this game, if that's the case of make a reprint, to get to as much people as possible. So this is the decision that we are internally thinking of right now. So something like this. Usually before there was like a reprint plus expansion plus extra pricing, but we have seen that something like for us like very enlightening. It was Oddworld. Oddworld delivered a very very well received game. Kudos to them. They work fantastically. And then when they made the reprint, they made it simple, no extra expansion, something they need to add, and then their game is they're getting all this extra money to continue the development of future projects, not having to ask for hundreds and hundreds of stuff, because worldwide situation is different as well. And this means that I would say that Ameritrash games, these 4 5 6 boxes games, are an endangered species and go into extinction. I would say.
Yeah, we're
And
definitely seeing fewer of them, and they're having more trouble funding now.
yeah, and as a first timer, the difference is that before you would say, okay, I'm a first timer. Let's hope that I can get, I don't know, 300K. I think that I can get those and that. But nowadays, if you're a first timer and you like really need this 300K, you're gonna have a tough time. Like we have been seeing, like with the Thinning Veil, which
Yeah.
is a project that they relaunch. They are doing their best, but it's very hard for a first timer if you don't spend crazy amounts on marketing, on I would say even say and paying reviews so you can have like a lots of
Unfortunately,
experience
yeah.
exposure, and it's really hard. And I really want to say that this kind of commitment that they are showing, it's and I really wish them the best. And right now, it's much different than what I would say 1.5 years ago. For our example, we were able to get like I think it was 650,000, and we surpassed $1 million in the like pledge
Oh,
last
perfect.
week. And the thing is that after our project, and this is not mainly because of us, but it's because the world changed that I said before, there has not been a single first timer project with more funds than our project
Oh,
did
wow.
back in 2021. And it's not because of us only. It's because the world.
Oh, sure.
And also it was I think it was in February 2022 there was the Simon Zombicide Marvel shipping explosion, and then we go to Mythic Games asking for this extra money, Ukraine war, pricing gas, and the worldwide start trust. It's something that it's every day like lesser and lesser,
Yeah,
and it's something that is affecting everything, and also board gaming as well.
I completely get it. Is there anything else you'd like us to know about Harakiri that maybe we don't know?
Well, I would say that not that much, but not because we think to be hide, but because we have been like so open, and so we have a community, like we ask them like questions like 24/7, and we have been answering all comments, all emails. I think that we have answered like I don't know if it's 1,000 emails
Oh,
things that
wow.
for the last year, and all of them in the first 48 hours. Oh, it's something that we are the ones, we the creators and the owners are the ones answering each mail. So we have been like very transparent with the people, and things I would like people to know that a project like ours, I would say that it starts from passion, and 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 I think that we do as the gaming community, we still do deserve that new projects from new companies who are able to bring new things into the table
Exactly.
can make it through. Because if not, we are going to see only reskins and IPs,
Yeah.
and that's gonna be it.
Yeah, that's
And that's
exactly
it.
it.
And I see lately a lot of debates as I saw a video on King of Average, if the creativity is over and all that. But in the end, in my opinion, it's a matter of companies are adapting themselves, and if people are willing to pay 100, 150 because without knowing anything besides the brand that's on it, companies will do that. I mean, it's not that easy to spend 3 or 4 years creating new mechanics and gameplay, and you need and only new companies will do that. And this is something because we have spoken with many big companies, and some of them they were interested on purchasing our game, our IP, and everything. And when we showed them the game, they said your game looks fucking cool, but the thing is that it's too much game. So it's something that we cannot deliver if you wanted to have like 25,000 copies on retail and everything. And we decided not to accept any of the offers that we received because we wanted our vision at least to try to share it. And this is what we did. And who knows if it's turning well or not, but we will do our best.
Well, I think I've done a great job. Like I know when I first came in and backed myself, it was the comments. It was the whole community that y'all were building in the comments section there, and the fact that y'all were super responsive. And I've only seen transparency from y'all throughout the whole thing.
Yes, yes. And in fact, I have to remember that because like our campaigns, you have like the Valley of the Dead in the middle, and it was like very, very hard for us, like mentally. We were sleeping 3, 4 hours a day, and we were seeing that the backers were some backers were leaving. No, every day there was not a single day that we lost backers, like net loss, but the funds were decreasing a little bit, and it was so hard for us. But in the end, in the last 2 days and in the last 2 or 3 hours, it was such a party. We were like unlocking things and giving
Yeah.
new stretch goals that some of them they were not going to be part in the game. Like we were going to stop after the sumo sapo or
Okay.
one of the last one. That was supposed to be like an extra one, but people were still asking for more, and people was so cherries every on the comments, and we had a meeting where we were meeting and said, okay, we need to add something else, and it was unlocked in I think like 10 minutes, and it was 15 minutes still, and people give us another stretch goal. Come on, this is the feeling and everything, and we're like, I have to say that we were like, I was crying myself at home with all that happiness after these 2 weeks that were so hard. That when campaign ended and people were like congratulating us and telling us how amazing it has been to be part of this campaign, that this makes many of the things that you could say that were like moments that you could think, oh, what I've done, what I've been doing. This makes it all like be good.
Yeah, yeah. Those few weeks that you're in a campaign, it's killer. I've been on the
It's
floor
very
watching a couple
yes,
huge ones at
yes,
Reaper and a couple other places, and yeah, it's
yes.
hectic.
And like we had our timing decided, and then Simon announced that, well, teased the Marvel zombie whatever with the Silver Surfer, and we were like, oh my god, we are screwed. What do we do? We had to send emails to content creators, please do not post the review yet because we don't know. And in the end, we decided to go through. Many people told us that we were choosing a bad timing, but in the end, like Simon waited for a couple of months, and we luckily were able to have like a small, I would say, window.
Yeah,
There was not much competence, and we were like super happy. But there are some moments in there that you have been working for 3 years, and then if they tell us that Simon is launching a campaign the same day that you are, it's devastating.
yeah,
So we were like very sad at the beginning, but then super happy when we saw that it was not the case.
yeah. That's hard to find a good time to launch a project these
Yes,
days.
yes,
It's very
and
crowded
even
market.
yes, but then at the beginning of the year, the last like February, March of this year, they were like quite, I would say, like quite empty. But now this April and May looks like a terrible, terrific for backers, but terrible for new projects. And
Sure.
and it's something that you have to be, well, always like contacted with in contact with the community and with the sector. This is something another thing that happened to us. That one of these contacts that we had with one of these big companies, and we were exchanging opinions and everything. And they told us, okay, when are you planning to launch? I said, okay, I will plan to launch this timing. Okay, and what about your next project? Oh, I think we will launch that date. They said, oh, I think that date there is this and that and that. And the big company told us, we don't care. I mean, let the others move away. And this is something that made me sad a little bit because this means that they don't need to. And but it is what it is. But it means that when it's your child, it's something that is yours. You have to be in contact with everything, take everything into account, and then when you get so big, I think that you lose some kind of connection
Oh, you definitely do.
with the people. And I really hope, I fingers crossed, that this does not happen to us, and this is why we want to keep everything a small team, one project at a time, maybe like one project like main project, and slowly working on something else, but no, do not go further than that, because if not, you end up creating this snowball that leads to disaster.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think a lot of times companies lose the connection with their gamers, and they lose the connection that their customers are the gamers,
Yes,
that their
yes.
customers are not other businessmen, and that can be really devastating. And
and,
it's
and,
devastating
and
for the community too. We want that
yes,
connection. That's why we get
yes.
on crowdfunding and back things.
And this is something that, in fact, is something that you can. I wouldn't. I'm not an English. It's not my first tongue, but
Sure.
I would say that you have the opportunity to turn the community into your favor if you are good with them, if you are transparent, if you are willing to show them, willing to make them part of the process. Then this will work in your favor later on. So even in a selfish kind point of view, you should do that. So we are like, me personally, I'm kind of amazed of the companies that they do not interact, they do not give updates, they do not answer questions, because they are doing something that it hurts them short, mid, and long term. And I don't know why. I mean, it's kind of weird, but I do not know why companies do not have this like straight, transparent, and constant connection with their backers. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a tough one. kind of switching gears just a little bit, because
Sure.
I meant to ask this earlier and I didn't. What's your favorite board game?
Okay, so about board games, as I said before, what I look when I play a board game, I look for these memories that I can talk to later on. I would say that the games that gave me this the most, I would say like probably Twilight Imperium,
Okay.
because for me it's like one day experience that you can talk of it like 3 or 4 months later. And then about more board gaming, crawlerish games, what gave me this, it was most probably like Midara
Okay.
is a game that I really enjoyed. The story that I enjoyed. We are super happy that we have been able to share that they are sharing their world with us, and we have a crossover with them, and we are super excited. And they are for us. They are kind of an example of a starting team that they had to work very hard to create something. They stayed focused on their vision. They delivered the game that is highly praised, and now they can like well they have their prints, and then there's a pledge manager that started reopened yesterday, and I wish them the best as well, because the game that they created, there was some many small improvements on the genre, like not very big, but this and that, and this is adds up, and these are the kind of things that we need on the industry to keep on
Sure.
progressing.
And I think you're right. A
Yes.
lot of times it comes with fresh eyes, just getting fresh eyes
Yes.
onto a genre, onto a different type of game, and say, hey, what can you do for this? So we definitely we need people that are willing to at least push the envelope. Can you briefly talk to us about the different phases of gameplay in Harakiri?
Yeah, so there is this first adventure phase that you move around the map. One of the big differences that we have related to other games that may add this is that this is a cooperative game, but each character will can do their own, so they can go on their own, do the main missions, but also develop their own story, because these characters are doing that for a reason. This is not something that that these games are okay. You start and you do that because you do. No, each of the four characters, and there's something that why our game has to be always played with the four characters all time is because they have their own motivations, their personal story, and you can explore the story and the world during this first part. So you go against this dark shogun, which is this tyrant that assassinated the emperor and is trying to find his son in order to kill him as well. And then you have to hide him while you are trying to decrease the influence on the world, and world changes with you, new secret locations, and this is also, we decided to make this map completely clean, no lines, frontiers. So like kind of like a map itself, which is something that it's not easy because you have to do like very carefully. So gameplay wise, it is still easy to be played, even if you don't do all this. Like
Y'all have a beautiful
the
map too.
yes, yeah, the like the provinces in our game are because of like if in the mountain or the forest, not aligned there, crossing, and so these things that we really like took care of. That's the first part, and then there is a dungeon crawler part. With that, we are adding. I would say we focused on creating this epic gameplay mechanics. Also, we created a way that we let players decide the rhythm that they explore in a way that we do not, because many games say, okay, you have X turns, let's say, to do this task, or if not, start killing you or whatever. So what we said is we allow players to decide their rhythm, but if they go too slow, I would say, then there is this malice track that goes higher and higher, and this will give you a negative effect, but it's different for each session and it's unknown for each session. So you add this tactical layer. So are we willing to spend an extra time healing ourselves, getting our better rolls in exchange of maybe a debuff in the final combat? So we want these decisions to be like organically implemented into the game. So you can decide how you play, but in the end, the story has to evolve, because it makes no sense that you can spend like 20 hours if you are going to rescue someone before it's
Sure.
executed. So we want these to be thematically, narratively connected as well. So So this will be these two parts, and then there is these two expansions. One is for solo play, and it has some secret boxes that you discover during the campaign, some kind of pandemic kind of, but with miniatures and all these kind of things. And then there is this bots battler expansion that we will be showing in detail in this month's update, with this absurdly big miniature of a dragon that is, I think it's 17 centimeters, which is in inches. It's more than 6 inches, 6 point
Yeah, it's a big one.
whatever. And this is something this is one of the things that nowadays is, I would say, like almost impossible. I mean, it's so expensive. The amount of molds, like I think this miniature alone costs like 3 molds, which is almost like $5,000
Yeah.
just for the mold. Like the first dragon costs you $5,000, and this is something that we decided to go all out, as I said. But for a first timer, I doubt that something like that could be done again. I would say, I mean,
Yeah.
if they can,
Yeah, I
kudos to
know
them. Huh? But
Tebru recently just put out an update and said, hey, there were a lot of people that said, we just can't make your miniatures that big.
yes,
And they
yes,
ran into the same thing where they were having to use multiple molds for those.
yes.
And, they have some pretty hefty miniatures too. So yeah, it's definitely not seen a lot. They ate a lot of the cost on that too.
Yeah, for the molds, for producing, for the shipping, because the volumetrics, because right now the most important, it's more about the volumetrics rather than the weight,
Sure.
because it is like that. I mean, because you have to, like, even if you make the games as condensed as possible with cards and everything, in the end is the size that you need. So these kind of very big miniatures that you put them on an insert and then into a box, they are expensive on each step of
Yeah.
the process.
Yeah, you're competing with a lot of Amazon packages on that mail truck.
Yes, I cannot understand how can they deliver like AliExpress or all that so cheap.
Oh,
I
I know.
mean, I'm sure they are putting some part of the cost on every
Yeah,
other
just so
place,
many
or they have
contracts
agreements,
involved.
or yeah. But yes, we are working against a lot. I would say.
So I've got to ask, what was in the box? Or are y'all you still working
No,
on that?
what is in the box? It's we already know. The thing is that it was one of the big, I would say, like the only controversy that we had after the post campaign, because I was one day, I'm going to be like super straight, transparent to you. I was playing with, I have a 7 year old daughter,
Okay.
and she was playing with her Pokemon cards and with these foil cards. And we said, this looks cool. This could look like really cool. And we announced that we would be adding this foil effect if we were reaching 1,000 members on each on social media.
Mm-hmm.
There was some backlash, I have to say, that the foil gate appeared, and many people said, "No, this is for Pokemon cards. We don't want this." Okay, so we had to step back, and then we committed an error there, that instead of saying, "Okay, there's nothing and whatever," we decided, okay, then we will try to give something else. And we do know what is on the box. It's not something that has to be decided yet. We know. But the kind of funny thing is that we have not reached 1,000 members on any of our social media.
Hey, that's a
So
hard one.
even the foil would have never happened, but we got the backlash anyway. So
Okay. Yeah, I was wondering if I
ridiculous.
just missed it or or what, but because I never saw the box and I want to know what's in the box.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I can see both sides of the coin there,
Yes,
and
and I understand. I understand,
it's
but
really hard when you say you want to do something and then you get backlash from one side and you say, okay, well, we're not
yes.
going to, and then the other side attacks. So
And also because after we ended our campaign, we have been like massively improving our art. Like we have been changing all this, and we have always been receiving like very good feedback. So we were kind of confident that anything that we were putting into the table was going to be received in a good way. So it was kind of a big unexpected, and obviously not well. It was not a good feeling, because we
sure.
did it with our best intention, and it was like, okay, I wish I'd never done that, but we did that mistake. We say so. and we are being still improving our art and everything, and we will keep on doing that, and hoping that everything that we still present to backers is well received.
Yeah, I think from everything I've seen, y'all are gonna have a great reception. I'm looking forward to seeing what everybody says when they see the game. Can you tell us a little bit about the different factions we might encounter during the game?
Okay, well, about factions, the thing is that there is this dark shogun, which is like the big guy on the shadow. It's his origin is explained on the solo expansion.
Okay.
So this is something that because it's like a prequel to the Act One, but then this guy takes whatever he can, he will be able to in order to achieve his goals. So so characters or players will be facing undead enemies, traitor humans, people who were loyal to the emperor and now they double crossed. Then also lots of fantasy. Well, not maybe not lots of, but lots of folklore Japanese themed yokai that they are like I don't know. I have here like some kind of very weird creatures. I hear like this guy, the flying head and
The
everything. So
giant tension and yeah.
yes, and we have like we try to add based on Japanese folklore, and then adding this some what could a big like a tyrant like that have access to. So you would be able to get some humans, some soldiers, some. So these are like there is a lot of mixing creatures, but we gave each of them some lore, so there is a reason for why they are there. So yes, but faction this big guy who goes against everything and everyone.
Is there anything else you'd like to talk about?
About the game, not that much, because I think that we have been like informing and telling everything to everyone. I would like to, and this is I have to say that this is not something like planned. I would like to also like I will even say thank the work that you are doing, because it's every time harder and harder to have content creators who are so focused in the games, not everything that it's not game related. And I think that it is something that I contacted you because I really wanted to have the opportunity to collaborate with you and have an interview with you,
Excellent. Well,
because
thank you.
I've been following your channel for a long time, and it's something that with you treat like everyone and everything with respect, and it's something that it needs to be there
I appreciate
because
that. I'm trying to do something a little different. I try to treat it with the respect it deserves. I might not always get there. I can be a little
well
salty sometimes, but for the most part, I try to take the angle of the backers. I don't think
yes
there's many people representing the backers, and I think a lot of these big companies have lost contact with the fact that we
yes
are your
absolutely
revenue source, and
yes
to a point, you do answer to us because we do
yes
vote with our dollars, and so
but I
I
have to say
try.
but I have to say that that said, with what you said, I think that is totally true. It's important that backers as customers um, are aware that their decisions are the one which are creating the frame. So it's like when people says I do not want this company because they don't treat backers well because of A, B, C, D, and those companies keep on making lots of business, lots of money. The message is not reaching. I mean, so this is why I think that the companies who try to do things well done. Obviously, if you don't like the game, don't get the game. I mean,
Sure.
don't waste your money just to put it on a shelf. But this is something that in the end, the market and companies will be adapting to what they feel or what they receive from customers. And I think that backers, it's such a special and a specific kind of customer that's so special on itself that maybe companies they do not realize the kind of relationship that has to be with backers. And sometimes backers, uh, they should know as well that the most probably the crowdfunding aspect is almost non-existent nowadays. And this is also as well because of people and backers who want things like completely fully done, no ideas, no drawings. And this is also something that is making it like harder. Like nowadays, anyone would dare to start a campaign without like everything that because if you will get no money.
Oh, exactly.
So this is something that changed because of the backers, and I think that backers and customers have the power to make companies who treat them well going strong, and it's kind of there's part of responsibility on their side as well.
Exactly. I
So
kind of hope after, 5-10 years that the backers realize they have that power and that the market does have to adjust to where the dollars are actually going.
yes,
But you're
yes,
right. If we frame it as you can give us a cheap reskin of a game and put zero effort into it, and we will pay you all that money all over again, they're going to keep doing it.
yes,
There's no
absolutely.
reason not to. And and I don't blame them. In the end, this is about making money, as well as bringing dreams to
Sure,
life, and
sure thing, but these have to go together because if there is no money, then there is no time to create anything.
exactly.
So because in the end, I still remember that I said to someone once that in the end, in order when you will start a project or like a board game for that instance, there are three things that matter, which are talent, time, and money. So in the end, the value of your project is going to be the lower of these three. So if one of them is non-existent, there's no project. If there is no talent, no money, or no time. So companies, we need obviously the money to be able to create new things, and this is one of the reasons of these reprints. Because obviously, we would say why reprint is more expensive because obviously the costs are much lower because you already have all the molds and everything. But the reason is obvious because on the reprint is what will give you the money to cover for everything that you've done before and to cover for everything that is to come, at least for, I don't know, at least one extra project.
Yeah, and I mean,
So,
you have to sit there going, okay, are we going to want more stock of our game later after
yeah.
this reprint? Because it may not just be one reprint. Things like Oathsworn, I don't think we're going to see Oathsworn disappear from shelves anytime soon. We're going to
Mhm.
start seeing games like Oathsworn or possibly Harakiri showing up
Mhm.
into getting some spots in retail or getting some spots at least in some local game shops. And I think that's going to become more and more prevalent. A lot of the game shops are backing themselves now, and
Yes,
so
yes,
it's definitely a,
yes,
a new market. And as it expands, we'll see more of it. And I think people get used to that, and that's a good
yes.
thing. That really is. It's really hard to get a game on a shelf, and it's really hard to get a big game on a shelf because it takes up too much room.
Yes, I have the shelf, but I have my shelf of shame next to me right now. And for the last 3, 4 years, I've not been able to play like properly anything.
Oh, I
So,
totally
but
understand that.
so games still like pile up, and I'm so, oh, I want to play this and that, but I have no time. So I don't know. Maybe when we finish the development of Harakiri, because from the development to delivery, there's production and there's some time, and then I have some months. Maybe if we're able to take, I don't know, 2 weeks vacation, I'm gonna be able to play something
Yeah,
that is not Harakiri related.
definitely. So, coming up here in May, we have the end of y'all's discount, right?
Yes, yes. This is something that will be ending about half May. Then we hope, fingers crossed, that we're going to be able to have everything ready for start of shipping payments by the starting of June, and then by the starting of July, close the pledge managers, so we have all numbers settled up. And we think that at that time will be when all files will already be for in the manufacturer. So then, yeah, the pledge. I'm sure that I don't want to say that we will have to expand the pledge manager, but this is something that we will need like people to respond, to give their data, their shipping, their because it's something that it also amazes me. I think we have like 350 people who paid during the campaign they have not entered any data or anything, and it's like, but and it's something that worries me because I don't want, I don't know, 100 people that they don't get their game because they did not put their info. So I guess that we'll have to make lots of reminders and everything. But right now the schedule is this one: like half of May, end of discounts, um, starting of June, start for shipping costs for and taxes for European country mostly, and then starting of July we close the pledge manager, and fingers crossed that we can start production right after that.
Okay, so I want to make it absolutely clear to my viewers, this is the best time to go grab Harakiri, or it's going to be more expensive.
That's for
And,
sure.
and if you don't jump in now, and if you wait for a reprint, you're probably going to be more expensive there. This is the time to go grab the game. Don't let it be like Oathsworn. Don't let it be like Oathsworn where you want the game but you're having to pay 4 or 5 times what it actually costs. From everything I've seen, Harakiri is going to be there too, and I very honestly think that if you're going to jump on a game, you have a little money laying around, and you want something this big and epic, go for it.
Thank you very much for your opinion, because I do know that they are honest. So it's double value, because for us it's important for people to know that that if there is ever a possibility to get a key in the future, let's say Reprint, I don't know, obviously it's going to be more expensive, because we will not charge less than we charge to our backers, that are the ones that are giving us their trust and their money for us to be able to create something that is different, and that would not be possible with by a big company or someone not willing to spend 3 or 4 years of their lives working till late hours every working day to try to deliver something that it's worth it. So again, thank you for your kind words.
Well, and thank you so much for putting all the hard work in there. All of the unsung heroes a lot of the time. If your name's not on the box, a lot of people don't know you. And there are a lot of people behind these games. So thank you for everything y'all have done, and for all the adventures you're going to take us on.
Yes.
So we appreciate that. And I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me, and not only me, but my viewers as well. It's great to put a face to the name, and it's great to, just kind of peel back the layers and see a little bit behind the curtain there.
Yes, I think that there is still hope for the sector with this kind of relationships, and I think that is something that we need this to be present, to be able to have this connection with backers, with content creators, that we can create these synergies between us, because in the end we all want, I would say the same. I mean, we want to live, to be able to live from this in a way that it's fun and appealing to our customers and to people around us. And this is one of the thing that you just said about that we have been giving names on all our art, all our everyone, that miniatures, tiles, each illustration. We have always, like, this is something that I don't know, like other companies that they don't do, and it's like, okay, it's part of me, and we have been like working with this every collaboration, every piece of our game. We have been transmitting it to the people, so people can know who do we work with as well.
Oh, and it's definitely appreciated. Wow. Personally, I'm all the more excited to get my hands on Harakiri after chatting with Joel. The tale of Harakiri Blade of Honor's conception is what crowdfunding is all about to me. Bringing life to a dream that without the support of the board gaming community might never see the light of day. With our support, they've created a game that many larger companies said they couldn't. And they've done so without losing touch with their backers and their community. You can bet there's more to come from Harakiri on the channel. This is only the beginning. I hope you all enjoyed this. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, I'd love to hear them in the comments. Let me know what you think. There's so much more coming down the line, so just hold on. Things are getting crazy busy around here. Please consider subscribing so you don't miss anything. Thank you to everyone watching, commenting, and especially to those supporting the channel through our Patreon page. Every dollar coming in there is helping to buy new equipment for the channel and open up new opportunities for higher quality content. We'll be back soon with our next news video, so stay tuned. Have a great weekend and play something adventurous.